Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Poetry Street. This is the room without a roof where every voice is heard. I'm so happy that you're here at the Free Public Library and also all of you at home on Zoom. We're celebrating Gay Pride. We're celebrating Juneteenth, African American Music Month, and we're also celebrating Poetry Street's 12th anniversary. 12 years ago, Robert A. Bubby Brown and Susan Dingle started Poetry Street, part of the Jumpstart program to create an art space in a business. And for almost 5 years, we were at the Blue Duck Bakery. Nancy Curris was very generous to us, and today she even made a cake. So we were happy for that. Unfortunately, those of you on Zoom, you're on your own. Okay, so we have three incredible features today. The first up is Berkley Wendell Semple, born in Guyana, has published 4 poetry collections: Lamplight Teller, Guyana Prize for Poetry, The Solo Flyer, The Central Station, and Flight and Other Poems, 2023 Guyana Prize for Literature. His work has appeared in other publications, notably the Caribbean Writer Daily News Prize for Poetry. Please help me welcome Berkley Wendell Semple.
Thank you so much for the invitation, Chip. It's great to be out here on the island, and I live here in Malvern, and I'm happy to see that there is such a vibrant poetry-loving community here. So I want to read some of my more recent poems. These are upcoming from my new book, which is supposed to be published at the end of the year. These poems haven't been titled yet, but we will call them my first and the first lines of the poem. This one is called Just When I Thought I Would Get Old and Fat with My Wife. Just when I thought I would get old and fat with my wife of close to 30 years, she pulls up stakes and says no, she wants to get old and fat with someone else. This I have learned. The eye is not the only window. All there is to a door is not the self. These days, the future holds no allure up ahead, waiting every man like the afterlife. Still, in the parentheses between life and death, a spectrum of loneliness looms. I never thought about another wife. I think about now. I miss married sex, intimacy, cuddling after, post-coital torpor like Sunday afternoons. These days, my bed is too big. I turn over and reach out to find an emptiness so vast, it's everywhere. There is no fat wife to pull and spoon and press and say, closer. Closer was never once close enough. Anyway, thank you. And I'm going to read from a stand of late bloomed lilacs, pollen the air, my sneezes. This is the first line of the poem, but it's poem actually number 25. A stand of late bloomed lilacs, pollen the air, my sneezes wake the invisible wife, or history dead. She is not there. The room's quiet on nerves. I lie horizontal above the covers, my arms death-like across my chest. Ceiling is all I see. Eggshell white pleading for a blemish of blue across its surface. I do not know what to do. I know my contribution to the disillusion. I know her scent, which left me seeking for her sense. How big our bed became, I turned dreamless and desultory, and could not fall to crack my skull on the tiles. Love was never enough to solder our widening seams, not enough our fidelity and careful regard for religious things, nor affection, nor love. Our choices summed ought to have been enough. I twisted to fit and not be subsumed. There was no space enough, not no sliver of room. Thank you. Oh, I go to Guyana a lot, and a cousin of mine, and she had this picture on the wall. It was with her and her two children, who I know, and this strange white man. Excuse me. I never seen him before, and this would be interesting because in Guyana, you are at least where I grew up, you hardly ever get close enough to any person but the people that look like you. But there was this picture, and so I asked her about it, and she told me. And this is essentially the story. This poem is 15. It's called "Who Had Been a Studious Maid, the White Folk in Colonial." She was, in fact, a maid to a British couple in Georgetown when she was quite young. So this is about my aunt, my great aunt rather, who had been a studious maid to white folk in colonial British Guyana. She read Locke's Leviathan, Descartes' Meditations on First Philosophy, Cogito Ergo Sum in the boss man's library, and sang real nice, old-fashioned ditties in Creole, songs like Sly Mangoes and The Economy. This was in 1944. My great aunt was born in 1924. She had carbuncles. She had a limp from a displaced hip from when the boss man's white lady wife pushed her down the stairs. She had a black woman's lifetime of mistrust of white folk, not just body, but soul. Here she is among the greats, dark-skinned, hard woman with an unsmiling, malarial eyes. Here he is, the boss man, tan and terracotta. The year his wife died after his stroke came in as her boy toy and dotage father to her children, Megan and Melroy. Thank you. I'm fond of beaches, and really where I'm from in Guyana, that's all I see all along the coast where I live. And I go to the beach a lot. I do a lot of fishing, and I do a lot of swimming, and I walk around. Now the beaches in Guyana are not like the Caribbeans. They're rough and muddy and different. And this is Beach of the Bracken Way. I'm always conscious of whether I'm being understood when I read, because my poems are full of the sort of sometimes the Guyana topography and the landscape, and this is one of them. Beach of the Bracken Way, beach of the silica shine, seasons are signed by the moorings waste, beach of fleshy kelp, tides returning room, breakers froth and film sizzle in sand, beach of pummeled snail shells, bladderwrack, whelk, and abalone, globadoriner, bones of fish and men, teak spars from lost trolls, beach of grinning skulls, waves sieve and ist the fathoms down, beach from the burns, the sedate sea irons its rough silk waves. Trawlers are still upon the water like in a painting. Seagulls cloud their wake. Men in silhouette set sails. The sky has curved down to kiss the sea. The sun's polished brass gong brandishes its glaring shield. The eye's outward looking turns inward, rolls back, shows its whites to the world. The sea disappears, the sky birds the land. Now landscape is a man walking the beach with bare soles slapping the sand. Thank you. Make sure you cut me off when it's time, Chip.
Okay, you can do one more, please.
All right.
Thank you.
This is a poem about, I was traveling on a bus in Guyana, and there was a woman there. Well, there was a guy, and he was telling a rather sad story. Apparently, they had taken their son to a lake, place called Dakara, and him and his wife snuck off for a moment of, let us call it, a amorous behavior. And when they returned, the son had who'd been left playing had drowned in the lake. It was such a heartbreaking thing to listen to as I traveled, because it was a long way to go, and the guy who was the person in the poem was quite, and he just started to cry. It was very, very sad, let's say. But this is the poem. I call it "Of Things Strange Nothing Was Uttered." Of things strange nothing was uttered. A lemonly, lovely day by the creek in Dakara, the child, tanning dark, dove into liquid, limpid, long water, joy, and flip foot and head down, drowned at play. Day was lemon, and day around the water, neck was wreath. Buttercup of yes, clear, petal fanned, fire out, and place has become for so long twain, we two, twining serpents in Eden of the whisper come, a quickie, quickly in the wood nearby, while the children, joyous and jocund, gamboled and plunged, splish, splash, backflip, somersault, sing, look what I can do. In shade of Mora and Maho, you and me and I do, you back ways and front ways, side and sated, yeah, sweet Simone. And returning rumpled, pleating down skirt and pants leg found, drowned, the baby boy of our seed and the womb in the razor grass. And the breakup right then and there, the family frayed. And you go your way and I go mine. Thine is the kingdom, O Lord, O devil. And into each life, rain must fall. Thank you.
Such powerful and beautiful poetry. Thank you so much, Berkeley. And we ask that you come back after the open mic and read another poem. Okay, great. Thank you. Next up, I am so happy to be paired up with this beautiful, wonderful woman, Maggie Bloomfield, my co-host here at Poetry Street. She is just so wonderful to work with, and I'm just so happy. I'm going to read her bio. Okay. All the stuff that I said is not in her bio, but it should be right at the beginning. She is amazing. Okay, yes. Maggie Bloomfield, a psychotherapist, performer, published award-winning poet, essayist, playwright, and Emmy-winning lyricist for Sesame Street. Chapbooks include Trains of Thought, Local Gems Press, 2017, and Sleepless Nights, Finishing Press Line, 2020. Maggie co-hosts Poetry Street with who? Chip Williford. Yay! Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Maggie Bloomfield.
Thank you, Chip. Thank you, Chip. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I want to thank Claire, especially because I forgot to thank her last month, and just I was a mess the entire month. Anyway, the library, all of you, everybody on Zoom, Nancy Kouros, who made that beautiful cake that you must all stay for. And take some home, please. We forgot there were 4 poetry events today. Anyway, I'm Berkeley. That was gorgeous. Gorgeous. Let's hear it again for them. I'm sort of an eclectic poet. The first part of my reading are poems about love. This first is a sonnet. It's called Morning Sonnet. I carve an hour to wield my lazy pen. The paper sits before me, blank and still. I organize my thoughts toward moments when all inspiration yielded to my will. This hour of morning often dawns the best for creativity to blossom in the mind. I prompt myself with thoughts of sun, of rest, await creative spirals to unwind. With struggle, more intense, the conflict looms. Imagination stubbornly shuts down. The coffee brews, refrigerator hums. I sit and strain till morning has quite flown, until my thoughts drift languidly to you. My pen awakes with songs alive and new. Some of you heard this poem last month. This is kind of a tribute. It's from it's part of a chapbook that I wrote that's called What's for Dinner? The Diary of a Long Marriage. The weather today. This is the season when I never know what coat to wear or what jeans will keep me warm in the morning and not make me sweat by 1 o'clock. This is the season when yellow, white, and purple crocuses push their heads through all that melting winter snow, alerting us that actual lovely spring will be here soon, but not soon enough. This is the season when you disappear to putter in the garden and I start planting the begonias, hibiscus, tomatoes, begin pulling out the frilly little weed that thrives in every pot, no matter how I try to control it. Sometimes in the yard we both get lost together, picking up twigs, dumping soil in pots, trimming overgrown forsythia, planting seeds. Briefly, I recall another planting as I sat on your lap in the pool house years ago. Attempts at naked sex in the pool, ending with wet hugs and laughter. We grow old together, just like we promised. Our garden has become our marriage bed. Child, my husband's in the back blushing. Childbirth. Childbirth. It seems little effort for a chicken, a robin, a blue jay to lay an egg, a baby in a nice, smooth shell, as opposed to the agony women endure to secure our precious bundles. No limbs flailing, no splitting open of the frightened cervix, no screaming, no biting of the hand that splits us, no blood or tears, no cursing out the laconic mate, that rooster who basically observes the proceedings, preens his feathers, and waits for his cigar. Unfortunately, not all love affairs turn out beautifully. That one did. For almost 40, oh my God, over 45 years. Perception. Perception. My mind turns a presence into a word. I watch the sun lift from the horizon. I feel a sense of wonder before I title the event sunrise. It sinks. Awe strikes me before vocabulary rules. Sunset. What appears before my eyes is experienced first in my body and my senses. You stand looking at me. My heart flutters, my knees buckle, pins and needles move from my toes, travel up veins and limbs through all those ventricles, chambers. Your beauty hits my cerebral cortex and I identify you. Trouble. Trouble. And this poem was published by George Wallace, who's one of the 4 events of poetry going on today, in his Waltz Corner in the Long Islander. It's just a little poem. One more sad little love poem. It's not so hard to say goodbye. I've done the thing so often. At first, the heart must turn to stone, but gradually will soften. It's not so hard to let you go, except when one remembers when love exploded, fire and light, before it fell to embers. Ode to Elizabeth Taylor. 1,000 poems surely have been penned to the glory of your face. Violet eyes, rare, especially with raven hair, anomaly of God's handiwork, you hovered, naughty angel of beauty. Your legend, more persistent than Cleopatra, your Richard the Camelot we all fantasized. Your struggle with weight inspired us out of obesity. Come back. Magnetize your fat pics on our refrigerators. Come back. Wreck another home. Come back, Elizabeth. Marry again. Okay, these next poems go in a different direction. They're focused on what's happening in the world today. In hiding, there is a secret room in our basement. We discovered it after we moved in, under the stairs, obscured by a board on the door with sharps. I suppose the board held keys, lots of keys. How many keys does one family need? We store our luggage there. If we remove the suitcases, put them in one of two other rooms elsewhere in the 1960s decorated basement with a wet bar, we can easily fit a family of 3 or 4 immigrants, or possibly 2 large trans women into that room. If we place a large piece of furniture in front of the door, like Germany during the Holocaust, think Anne Frank, or the genocide in Rwanda, where 8 women survived in a tiny bathroom for 91 days, we could slip them food and help them remain safe, at least until we have to hide there ourselves. Okay. This poem is called No Ice Up Here. While gardening at evening, I wrestled a strong weed, which launched me upside down and landed me in a wheelbarrow. That wheelbarrow, in turn, catapulted me up a starry path and into the mouth of the platinum moon, which swallowed me whole. Once inside, the man, or is it a woman, said hello with its gender-fluid mouth. No point searching for me, earthly humans. Here it's warm and comfortable, and I am well fed on moon fauna. I sleep inside a silver comforter. We have lively conversations, the man, or is it a woman, and I. We regard earthlings with pity. I'm not coming back. I just have 2 more. This one is called Stream On. I like to stream the news a day late because then I know I survived it. What was that? That bombs and shattered glass in a world full of hate spared me to live another day. That floods and storms and blazing infernos passed me by, filling me with empathy and horror, but with arms and legs and ears intact. That Matthew Perry and all the others died, and that is terrible, But somehow I am still here to offer solace and money to the addicts, the minorities, prayers to the Ukraine, the Mideast, the democracy I thought would prevail forever. Selfish, yes, but you are still here too, and for that I am very pleased. And this last poem is called America. Let us remember that God shed his grace across the face of this great country for nearly 250 years. Let us recall, as we celebrate this anniversary, the history, trials, and triumphs we survived in the time before our current river of tears began its flow coast to coast. Let us embrace the love of America and each other our forefathers envisioned and penned, trusting it would prevail. Let us swim out of the river Styx, stand on solid ground, and salute each other under a pure, full moon. Thank you.
Awesome. Let's give it up for Maggie Bloomfield one more time. I can't hear you on Zoom. Come on.
Absolutely.
Okay, we can hear you now. Thank you so much. All right, thank you so much. Okay, so before I introduce this next feature, I'd like to introduce his parents. You know, these lovely people, they host a gathering, and they are so welcoming and so lovely. Marie and Greg, will you please stand? Thank you so much. And that man there, he makes the best pizza. Okay, so now to the matter at hand. Gregory Cioffi is the current Poet Laureate of Nassau County. Come on, let's give it up to Gregory. 2026-2028. He is a professional actor, award-winning director, professor, and published author. Gregory is particularly proud of his first full volume of poetry, Poetic
Anarchy,
published last year by Henry Gray Publishing. Please welcome Gregory Cioffi. Nassau County Poet Laureate. Yes.
America, I wonder. America, I wonder, when Walt Whitman heard you sing, if you were ever off pitch, and if he cherished such a blemish all the same. I wonder when Langston Hughes too sang America, if it was his favorite tune or simply the requirement for the audition as the darker brother. I wonder, when Childish Gambino states this is America, if he sees the same world Lee Greenwood does as he belts God Bless the USA. I wonder how far we have climbed on Amanda Gorman's hill as we inch towards our finish line. I wonder, what are we? An unreachable ideal or an attainable goal, and I wonder, will we ever make it? We are experimentation. A conglomeration of immigration sets us apart and paradoxically marks our greatest strength as the very thing we can't see past. America, I wonder. Thank you guys for being here. I'm going to do something a little different now. As Chip mentioned, I have a poetry collection. It's called Poetic Anarchy. I do have a few copies if anyone would like one later. Towards the back of the collection, I have a poem. It's called Blood Poets. I've never read it out loud, usually just because it's a little longer than 3 minutes, so at an open mic, can't really do it. But this is the opportunity to finally read this piece. It is inspired by, Akira Kurosawa's films like Seven Samurai or something more modern like 13 Assassins. So if you like that type of thing, you might enjoy this. It's also couplets, and each line is 7 syllables, just so you know. Blood Poets. We hear the singing mina in Republican China. Their mimics often pillage our hidden Yunnan village. We lived in a place obscured, the jungle shaped us assured, along the latent lakes provided us peaceful breaks. The time was simple, no doubt. We farmed, we wrote, we caught trout. I was a part of the 5. Here, art was seeded to thrive. We were already older. Fires of war were to smolder. The sword was replaced with pen. This is where we found our Zen. The brothers were Chu and Chi, then you Fu, and me, Chi. These what were but poetic claims, did not ask for our birth names. In the woods we would gather, imaginings we'd slather, mid crumbled ruins we'd write about the times forced to fight. Rain, oh, we dared not scatter, we wrote with the pitter-patter. We were content with such lives, went home to children and wives. We explored doomed politics, former military cliques of the vile Beiyang army, warlords whose reigns were tardy. Our community was pure, understood art was our cure. To them we were exciting. They yearned to read our writing. So we allowed them to read. More tales from us they would plead. Taken back by affection, we turned in our collection. They chanted our works aloud, making us feel humbly proud. Impressed by our scheme and form, they acted them out, perform. They called us the Poets 5. This we could never contrive. Words stuck in each pilgrim's head, soon our tale began to spread. I recall apprehension, I did not wish attention. Battle we could not afford if our words reached a warlord. We were assured times were tame, our worries we overcame, so we went back to the greens, wrote like poetic machines. Our work disrupted by screams. Head darted up, my worst dreams. We left our papers and ran, me howling like a madman. We reached our burning small town. Men, women, kids all struck down. An absolute massacre. My thought, how could this occur? Blood-stained papers swirled in air. Our poems forged our own despair. Through the smoke I saw the face, the one who caused this showcase. He rode off as we remained, couldn't think to chase, too pained. Found my son with his daughter, my wife hung in the slaughter. Madly we roamed in heartbreak, wishing we would soon awake, when we did not face our dread, finally buried our dead. Having nothing to live for, marked the start of our last war. His face in my mind ingrained, vengeance now kept us sustained. Over was my nirvana as I seized my katana. The others too grabbed weapons, the warrior's quest beckons. We rode into the sunrise with intent to brutalize, ready for when our time comes, beating hearts were our war drums. We journeyed, making our rounds, traversing numerous towns. We knew we were on their scent, inching towards their foul torment. On the third day we did reach land beyond figures of speech. Many things felt pre-planned and questionably abandoned. I stared at a burning bush, apt for the certain ambush. Our ornaments in hands firmed when suspicions were confirmed. The band attacked from all sides, clear this day of homicides, in my mind for all of time, avenging the max war crime. We dismounted and possessed, this was our ultimate test, formed a circle, faced outwards, ready to face the cowards. Shoulder to shoulder we stood, solidified brotherhood. Here we had but one request, one by one, birth names addressed. They stormed down upon us quick, beyond saw the lunatic. After that, as all I recall, is the raucous warring ball. With fire and fury I swung, in frenzied furor I flung, one by one and mass killed, destinies nearly fulfilled, thought they would never break through until the cry of Yufu. I turned swift, he had been stabbed, quickly Fu his weapon grabbed, our circle became smaller, avenge our fallen brawler. I moved like I did in my prime, shocked at my reaction time. I will make a fawner, warlord fights without honor. Further I push to reach him, beg, hang on to deathly grim. Felt an absence at my side, looked over, she had just died. His brother roared in such rage, all of them he did engage. True broke free and fought twofold, pure anger had taken hold, indignation like a spell, but when it wore, he too fell. Blood in my eyes, keep the fight, the warlord is in my sight. Push, hands oozing clammily, shout, you killed my family. I stood before the warlord, he who killed all I adored. His hands went up for the kill, stared, standing perfectly still. His sword came down with great might, in my eyes he saw no fright. Darted out of the kill zone, he knew his chance he had blown. Lunged with an intent to wreck, impaled my blade through his neck. Watched as he tumbled and fell, the last death I wished to tell. I looked back to see all dead, both friends and foes in bloodshed. Guilt, I was the lead driver, now the only survivor. Back home I could never go, it was a void of sorrow. So off I went, took to flight, with this one last tale to write. In peace I prune my bonsai, waiting for my time to die. If any read our heroics, just call us the Blood Poets. Poem. How many more minutes? One more minute or poem? Okay. Cool. I will leave you for now with one more poem. This piece is called, much shorter, Harlem's Hold. I know. The sky was showering, not with rain but light. The welkin was whistling, not from lips but exploding stars. They shot straight up and continuously cascaded back down, and just beyond your fire escape, we escaped into the moment. A diversity of color and shape took form, thrilling and awe-inspiring sensations. As we brushed up on your bed, brief incidental contact in passing, your skin smooth and sultry as the boom of another launch reverberated in the night. I wondered whether this was the first Independence Day where we declared independence from democracy itself. But such thoughts diverted me from a present I so very much wished to remain present for. So I returned to Edgecombe Avenue, and upon hearing another detonation, kissed you gravely. Embracing Harlem's hot hold, I held you tight as the outside world exploded and illuminated your elegance. You turned and ignited me, my burning eyes gazed into yours, and at that juncture, I saw the entirety of the world and did not want to let go. Poem. I will be back. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's give it up for Greg Cioffi, Nassau County Poet Laureate. This is his first feature since he's been installed as Nassau County Poet Laureate, and we're so happy to have you here, Gregory. So I want our founders to Poetry to speak first during the open mic. Is that okay, Susan Dingo?
Thank you. And congratulations, you all, for keeping it going. It's so wonderful. I have tried to start something out here called Poetry Street PNW at the Camas Library, and it's still in its little baby stage, but it aspires to be you guys. And I tell them that they can come, but so far they haven't. I think they're shy. This is a poem from my collection, Jubilee Along the Fault. It's called My Granddaughter's Valentine. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay. My Granddaughter's Valentine. My granddaughter in a bright pink fluffy jacket, pink poof on her headband, wears short afro today. How adorable, you say, but it's not like that. She's African, we're white, just doing the best we can. I hold the bag of treats and valentines I told her mom I'd help with, but my granddaughter turns on every light and the ceiling fan, eats barbecue chips at the counter, then strums a ukulele painted orange and black, whose strings go plink and plunk, and asks if she can walk outside in the yard. In the rain, I ask, and she says yes. So I give her my special umbrella with stripes and faces she calls a machine when it clicks open with thick metal spines I never saw as a machine before. A little brown girl under her machine visiting the trees. Later, it's time to come back inside. I read the names of classmates from the list and ask which of two Valentines they'd like, what color to sign her name. Purple, she says at the piano now, sounding out the keys. No Valentines, but chords. She's playing chords today.
Thank you, Susan. And now we're going to hear from Robert A. Bubby Brown.
Good afternoon. The last Saturday of every month, I feel like is another Christmas for me. It's just a joy. It's just a gift to be here, and I'm just crazy about all you guys. And this is very short, and I dug this out of my archives. It's dated September 14, 2009. And this weekend my wife and I were at the school at the moving up of our great-grands. Yeah. Great-grands. moving up. And I'm just so happy to be here to see these events, you know. And this is entitled The Joy of Old. There is a very distinctive joy of which I was never told, but it slowly grew upon me. 'Twas the joy of growing old. No more lame excuses for an increasing memory blot. It's legal for old folks to simply say, I'm sorry, I forgot. How grand it is to babysit, make our children's children bad, spoil them down to the bone, then send them back to mom and dad. Arising up each morning, no job, not a troubling care, no hair to perm, just grab a wig, or you simply have no hair. Each day brings new surprises. An ache comes from nowhere, makes you realize you've got a part you totally forgot was there. As dementia rears its ugly head, no invite, it just found us. Doesn't bother me one single bit, but a hell for those around us. To all the youth behind me, live your life without fear. Each day you're banking your memories in time you hold so dear. As Father Time prints out your path, each page you turn and unfold. Look back, you'll see, you'll appreciate the joy of growing old. Yeah.
I just love Bubby. He's something else. I love him so much. Okay, so Claire, who do we have on Zoom land that would like to be on the open mic?
The only people who've signed up are Randy, Mindy, and Chris. So let's start with Warren. Oh, on Zoom.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we're gonna go with Randy Fowler. Hey, Randy.
Hi. This is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and I appreciate Jay Vegas, who's emphasized that the only acceptable, safe emotion for men seems to be anger, and we're trying to break out of that. So this poem is called Love by Another Name. Dad loved me like a barista who sprinted around serving scalding coffee. If I didn't watch my words, I get burned. If he was angry, I get splashed. Dad once kicked our dog because it was in his way. Burn. He leaned over and smacked me on the forehead in a restaurant. Scald. Those were his good days. On the bad ones, Dad withdrew to his study to drink. My father's impenetrable silence screamed worthless to me. I preferred the burns. I left home with scars. Every outstretched hand looked like an invitation to risk relationship with a reckless barista. But Dad was the easy parent. Mom loved me like she wore a sweater of razor blades. Each hug a nick, each conversation a cut, each expectation a slice. Her wishes had edges. Every dirty dish was failed character, every question, rebellion. No single horror, just blood from the slow bleed of 1,000 incisions. Mom never apologized, Nick. She placed the blame on me, cut. She told neighbors I was the problem, sometimes even in front of me, slice. For years, people could see me bleeding, but could not see Mom's razor blades. I left home with open wounds. Every offered embrace seemed an invitation to be shredded by intimacy. I departed knowing love by another name. Thank you.
Wow, Randy, that was very strong, and thank you so much for sharing that, especially for Men's Mental Health Month, because we definitely need to get more in touch with what we're feeling and talk about it. Okay, so let's go with Paula Kersey. Hi, Paula.
Okay, so I'm going to read I Have an Imagination. And you see above me, I have this fan going, which made me decide to read this poem. I wrote this after my niece. She was 5 years old and everything was amazing to her, right? The world was amazing when you're 5. I'm too busy. I've got to eat my chicken McNuggets. I've got to visit my imaginary brother in Miami. I've got to sing the alphabet song. A, B, C, D, why can't you see? I'm too busy. I've got to eat my cheese and macaroni. I've got to save the dinosaurs from the scientists. I've got to sing the alphabet song. A, B, C, D, why can't you see? I'm too busy. I've got to play more knock-knock jokes. And I have to say hello to everybody, every boy and girl I see. I have to catch bugs. I have to give Grandpa super lady hugs before he has to go to bed. And I've got to dance like Sky Dancer does and move as fast as the fan does as it whirls around and around and around. I've got to sing the alphabet song. A, B, C, D, why can't you see? I'm too busy. I'm too busy to worry because I'm 5 and I have an imagination. Home.
Boy, that imagination will keep you busy for sure. Okay, Chris Javier. Thank you so much, Paula. Chris Javier has 2 books, both called Drift.
Drift 1, Drift 1.5, and Drift 2.
That's 3 books. All right. Can't sleep on Chris.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I got a new poem I'm going to read. Cream quiver inside the pitcher with a little headspace. The kitchen quakes emphatically. The small cracks slowly form into a lowercase L. Thankfully, the cream did not leak, just adhered in between the glass, though it's non-visible to the naked eye. The pitcher still holds weight, full of life despite the rumblings of bombs in its circumference. It holds for others who are shattered just after waking up from their dreams, being picked up by people to draw up cream into their coffees that are roasted like their cities that are occupied. And these pictures who once lived are now pieces of memories that the one remaining now carry. Regardless of the cracks, it'll form eventually. Not a single leak will be left on the dinner table before it crumbles along with it. Boom. Poem.
Thank you so much, Chris, and congratulations on your new book. So we're going to come back to the Riverhead Public Library and ask Warren to please come up and read. Let's give it up for Warren.
My brief conversation with Mother Teresa of Calcutta. Warren, listen to me. Warren, listen to me again. The fruit of silence is prayer. Yes, I hear you, Mother Teresa. But what is the fruit of prayer? Warren, the fruit of prayer is faith. Okay. I don't know what I know what faith is. Faith is love. But love is so big. What is the fruit of love, Mother Teresa? The fruit of love, Warren, is service. Service. The service is so big. Explain that to me, Mother Teresa. Listen, Warren. The fruit of service is peace.
Oh, wow. Wonderful words. Thank you so much, Warren. And now, one of our mothers of Poetry Street, Nina Yavell.
So, you know, when you're in love, poems come through you. You don't even have to edit them. So this is called Quantum Leap. The woman I love draws trees, draws their limbs, sketches their thighs, their breasts, circles their bodies, draws them in her silence with the kiss of her pen, graceful and gentle, traces the muscles, their long necks. The woman I love draws trees, draws me into life, circles my heart with her hands, loves me into light. She draws me in her silence, in her laughter she creates me. Her hands trace my body, my limbs, my thighs, circles my breasts. The woman I love draws trees, draws the hollow, buds, the stems of awakening.
I love. Yes, I do. Awesome. So Steve Bordekin is here. So I'm going to ask Steve to please come up.
Thank you.
Let's give it up for Steve once again. Thanks.
Hello, family. So I had a 4-minute poem, but I asked Maggie. So this one is, 4 minutes is, All right, so this one is interesting. My poetry varies from spot to spot. This is called the moral code of the boy and fool. Whispers on the wind. To live short-lived but buoyant is to understand that I am a guest of the earth, woven from this very same dark loom that eventually claims the oak and the sparrow. My moral duty is not to escape this reality, but to decorate it with the vibrant colors of my own witness. I begin in the shadows, an individual in the world and to myself. The sunrise reminds me that this world is made of dirt, of rain, and of silence. The dark is not an absence of light. It is the laboratory of my soul. I must honor my seasons of burial. Trust the transformation that happens in the quiet, for nothing blooms without first enduring the weight of the ground. If the wind is whispering, it is my moral obligation to listen. To walk through the woods or the city with a closed heart is a quiet form of sacrilege, but my buoyancy is born from curiosity, not static silence of the cultured deeds. It is the act of being lifted by the wonder of things outside of myself. And the code? To be a witness to the small, to pay fierce attention to each beautiful blessing of the natural world that I have forgotten, trying to carry the heavy burdens of my own ego. The ethic of being there is not to separate from the natural life. I am but its temporary expression. This realization brings a colorful grace to our actions. I am buoyant because I am part of a tide that has been rising and falling since the beginning of time. Steward to the beauty I have found. Taking my only inspiration, I need to grow and leave behind a song of kindness for the travelers who will follow me into this light. So I say, live with an open hand and generosity. Live with open-handed generosity. Do not let the shadows of mortality sink the vessels of your joy. Instead, let your fragility make you light, allowing us to dance upon the currents of change with a heart that remains stubbornly and beautifully aloft. Our lives are a brief whisper on the wind, and therein lies my holiness and our holiness. The moral code of the buoyant soul is to bloom fearlessly and specifically because the frost is coming. I will not hoard my light, but I will exhale it into the world. I am a brief, exhaled breath of the universe. My work is to be grounded in truth, attentive to beauty, and generous with my spirit. Bloom with all the colors you can muster, my friend, for the winds whisper that the dance is now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Steve. And now we're going to ask Barbara Ann Branca to please come up and read or sing. Give it up for Barbara Ann Branca.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. What a wonderful turnout, despite all those other events, and also just wonderful from Greg and Berkley, and of course our Maggie. So this being the wonderful month of June, soon to be over with the solstice, and it's summer, and we're on an island, and it's so beautiful. But I also feel compelled to do something in protest. So I'm going to kind of combine them. Because I recall one time we were sailing around Shelter Island with our friends on a calm summer night, and it didn't matter if the sails didn't billow and if the zephyr winds are light. But if you sail a ship of state and waves are rough out at sea, we need all hands who know the ropes and can tell windward from lee. Because we're sailing on a ghost ship. Sheets are slack and nobody's on deck. We're ghosting on a state ship in a fickle wind, in a zephyr wind. Ghosting along is easy if the wind is at your back. But when headwinds blow right at you, it's gonna set you back. You can't depend on a zephyr. It only takes you so far. Drops you when you least expect it, way off course and offshore. We're sailing on a ghost ship. Sheets are slack and nobody's on deck. We're ghosting on a state ship in a fickle wind, in a zephyr wind, ghosting around a sheltered island. We could sing and know we were heard. But in this gale, you can't hear cries of those already over the rail. What will it take to right us after such lies and such greed? Pray for steady helm and fair winds and following seas. We're sailing on a ghost ship. Sheets are slack and nobody's on deck. We're ghosting on a state ship in a fickle wind, in a zephyr wind, in a fickle wind. Have a beautiful summer, everyone, and vote.
Thank you, Barbara and Blanca. Now, if there's anyone on Zoom that would like to read, please send Claire a message.
And we have Mindy to go back to.
Okay. And now we would like to have Mindy Cronenberg read from Zoomland.
It is such a pleasure to be here with all of you today, Chip, Maggie, everybody. And you know, this being Pride Month, just after Juneteenth, we're reminded continuously of how important it is to be accepted for our authentic selves. And the worst thing is to be denied that as people. And I think we feel that as poets. And what's left unwritten. So this is called Stifled. When I think about the poems I should have written, I feel them clinging static fragments to my body. Patches of scratchy fabric from the bed sheets of old lovers, a clump of woolly threads for each lost mitten of childhood. I find them like insistent growths, spreading across my legs, swaths of satiny glimpses in the mirror before a formal dance, the wretched sheen of nylon panties catching first drops of menstrual blood. I spy the elusive words in x-rays, ultrasounds, on the hunt for insistent stumps or tissue gardens of knifed desire, climbing through bones like the tendrilled fences of my old neighborhood. It hardens in my throat, the fear of living an unspoken life. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Mindy. And now, Diane Morelli. Where is she? There she is. Let's give it up for Diane.
So as we all know, June is also the month of graduations. My granddaughter just graduated from 8th grade. So what do you give the child that has everything? You give her some of the stuff that you've written, either about her or stuff that you think she'd be interested in. I put together a book of some of my poems and my short stories for my granddaughter. I broke it up in sections, and in section 1, I included a poem that I call Hair Do's and Don'ts, Then and Now, and I'd like to share that with you today. Hair do's and don'ts, then and now. This was my hair care routine as a preteen in the year 1975. Outgrew amber-hued, butter smooth, no more tears shampoo. Moved on up, suave. Wetted hair added dab, rubbed strawberry cream to suds. Bubbles washed away. Head then topped with a raw egg. Glob of mayonnaise, conditioner made from refrigerator raid. With vigor, rinsed, combed, unknotted, toweled, left to air dry. Hairdo best described as unruly waves on an angry ocean. Things have changed since then. In 2025, we do not tease hair. No, not even when it's gone totally wild. Hair is massaged at the scalp with a root scrubber, lathered in paraben-free shampoo, cleansed in filtered water, nourished with oils, treated with nutrient-dense emollients, to be or not to be rinsed out before styling. Then it's rosemary sprayed, wet brush detangled, remaining curls tamed with defining mousse, cream, gel, diffuser used for blow drying, frizz-free spirals retained when locks are locked up in a satin bonnet. In a day or two, flip the do, go straight with heated comb, silky with flat iron. Don't think I'm hip. Learn these tips by following celebs or social media influencers. I took lessons on hairdressing from a true expert. My product-obsessed, corkscrew-tressed, middle schooler granddaughter.
Thank you, Diane. And now the sister of one of the founders. Oh, I love this woman, Linda Bullock. Let's give it up for Linda. Hugs first. Oh, thank you.
That's my sister.
Good afternoon. I'm really humbled by this group. It's a great day, great day. This poem was dedicated to Bill Batcher because he always makes me chuckle, always. 0. Attempting a leisurely shower today, peaceful and sudsy calmness abound. Shampoo and shower gels all in array. All was well until I turned around. As I reached for my loofah, our eyes met. A 6-legged creature the size of a pet let out a shriek. Shower curtain flew. Wet feet hit shiny floor. Not the thing to do. Shower towel on the floor. I shuffled my feet. Home alone, I dashed down the hall, bare-arched and dripping with a mission to complete. Under the kitchen sink for my weaponry, I flew. Fly spray? No, that will never do. I need the big guns. Hornet spray is best. I needed power to outbest this pest. Hastened back to the war room. Yikes, he's still there. But I am the hero. Ready, aim, shoot. Linda 1. Ugly cricket spider thing 0.
Oh, wow. Let's give it up for our features again and everyone that participated in the open mic. You know, Poetry Street is only successful is because of all of you. The contributions that you make is invaluable. I would like to bring Jen up to read the community poem. And Jen, if you could also explain what the community poem is when you come up. Absolutely.
Okay, so every month we have a community poem. What is the theme? What is the prompt this month?
America 250 years.
Okay, so if everybody would write one line of poetry, and Maggie will put it together into a poem that she or I or Chip will read next month. America, I spaced out. America, 250 years. Okay, there are slips of paper over there and pens, so write just one line of poetry. It will be put together into a community poem, and those on Zoom, put it in the chat, and Claire will take it and hand it over to Maggie. And so this is last month's community poem, and I've not even seen it until this moment, but our prompt was Scarlet. Scarlet is a feisty girl I once knew, one who charged at life with heart. She moved through the fair with her long red hair, and then she moved to Tara. The male cardinal makes an appearance scarlet on the horizon. The cardinal buzzes my head in a scarlet blur. Scarlet can be a beautiful, vibrant color. Scarlet tears flowed in my soul when my dad passed away. Scarlet, so aptly named as to color my rage, indignation, and fury. I am scarlet when I look at you. Scarlet tanager, redder than a cardinal, visits my May garden. Rose red blood flows. My scarlet blood flows, cleansing my heart. Good job.
Thank you so much, Jen. Wow. There's an art to this community poem business, and you all play a part of that. Okay, so I have a poem, everyone was talking about getting older. Like a thief lurking in the bush, old age crept up behind me, stabbing me, grabbing me, holding me in a chokehold, stabbing me repeatedly and thrusting a knife in my back and tripping me up. I fight back. Pulling and pushing for as long as I could, I wrestle, taking the advantage, running away until I'm found, and it's sitting in front of me in the mirror, confronting me again at last. I recognize I can't win, but at least I could breathe. Thank you so much. And now we are going to bring back our features. Did you want to read a poem? Okay, we have another person to read. Okay, before we bring our features back, let's bring back Jen Siff.
I ran out in a hurry. I didn't have a poem with me. I had a friend email me he texted me one of my poems. So there's going to be this long break while I figure out technology in between the two pages. This is called The Passion of Lost People. I hadn't seen the small scar under your eye, nor any part of you. Obscured in a crowded room, you said your sweet name and other things, and your voice, and I was yours blind. Your God can be called Bob, or it can be a doorknob, they told us. Anything but yourself or another person. The musician disagreed, said he was God because he was a Buddhist and God was within him. Your mistake was I was yours. I longed for death. My sponsor said I told you no new relationships after I left you too soon because you had lied and I was naive still and believed in fidelity. I longed for death, then like an addict called you only 3 months later. You sat in my passenger seat, I was in the driver's. I kissed you softly with pressure, wet but neat. I missed you and I missed you, we said, and we reunited and you got clean again. You knew more of me than I had known prior and showed me your secrets. Sensual awakening follows spiritual birth, your friend said, but it was you, all you. This was early recovery. Thank you, my love. Thank you also for the day we yelled wild outside couples counseling in Columbus Circle. We yelled with all the passion of lost people. Thank you because we tried and wanted, because you wanted me to open myself when I was too fragile and closed. Like in the picture on the cover of the journal you gave me. It reminded you of us, you said. She's saying no, but you can tell she wants him. Thank you because you opened yourself brave, because we went far as we could go together. This was early recovery. Thank you, my love. At the hairdresser, the guy you had flirted with washed my hair. My head was tilted back into the sink when he asked how you were, as people ask of others' lovers. Tears, so sudden, so pure, heated my eyes, then flowed clean from their corners down my temples to my ears when I had to say, we broke up. Do you think of me when you see your tattoo? Sometimes I think of you when I see myself. I see what you taught me. Thank you forever, my love, for early recovery, for all the gorgeous, painful passion of lost people in love.
Wow, that was amazing. Thank you so much. I'd like to bring Berkley back up. Berkley, if you would tell us about your job at the library, what you do.
Thank you. Good. I'm a librarian at the Queensborough Public Library. I oversee a department there, but it's always a pleasure to work there. I want to read this poem. It's always interesting to see, and it might be an interesting question to ask people what inspired the particular poem they're reading. This one was inspired by that lovely movie, Marty. I don't know if you guys have seen Marty. There's an old Ernest Bergman movie from 1955. The most perfect movie I've ever seen, actually, I thought. But if you haven't seen Marty, please look at it. But this was the idea of how the story went through and how I was more interested in the close-ups. Our poem can do exactly what the director was trying to do in the movie. So this is called I Know. I don't really know, but here it is anyway. Well, I know how and where and when I should turn and come back again, and slowing my saunter reach her like this and take her by the arm, no, by the wrist, and pulling her close to bend me down for our close-up that shows her frown, drawing her lips nearer to touch my own. Well, I know the doom in the press and the guilt that accompanies nakedness. My dangled spears a fig leaf cannot hide. And she's suddenly gone from my side, leaving empty space. She used to fill with her aura, aroma, and her will. I should leave this place, but I'm here still. Well, I list the rumors kited in the wind. You are in whose arms, who in yours, laughing as you walk the city street. Gamine still, girlish, thin as a stalk of wheat. That what wonder and wonderful dexterity turned it upon my axis and touched me lightly once, just so, but endlessly. Thank you.
Very nice. I enjoy your work. Thank you so much, Berkley. And now, Maggie Bloomfield.
What an honor to be in the same room with two poet laureates. The poet laureate of Nassau County and Chip Williford, the poet laureate of Suffolk County. Wow. Okay, what an afternoon. This poem is called Faith. Tree branches lift their nakedness toward tinned skies as blanched light leavens their loss. They intuit there will be life ahead and reach for it. Our human limbs stretch toward winter nights, hushed days, boots that crunch on muddied snow, trudge despair into submission with 10,000 steps. We frame communications with distant loved ones, light fires that insulate us from empty streets, abandoned storefronts. Bless those blindsided by this season of storm, this leaden hour, heavy but not immovable. We poets strike sparks. Our pens ignite a frosty season into a blaze of energy. We are feisty sparrows dancing on snow, persistent seagulls searching frozen beaches, unflappable ducks navigating slushy ponds. We hop and fly and quack through Armageddon. We poop and peck and rise. Thank you so much.
And actually, there are 3 poet laureates because we have the poet laureate of the Pacific West Coast, yes, Susan Dingle, on Zoom. Yes. So we are coast to coast, screen to screen, poet laureate solid here. Okay, so now, speaking of that poet laureate, where is he? Oh, there he is, way in Nassau County. Get over here in Suffolk. Come on, Gregory Cioffi, Nassau County Poet Laureate. So proud of him.
This piece is called It's Our Issue Too. If it takes 2 to tango, then no one should face the solo. So let us not for a second misconstrue violence against women is a men's issue too. So when a brother asks, what can we do? Here are some ideas to possibly review. I like to think step 1 of anything is to empathize. I like to hope that maltreatment we can recognize, for normalcy can be so unbelievably skewed, and maybe disputing it won't be met with gratitude. But if you see a shaken eye glisten, the very least you can do is listen. So show up, and not just for those you love, for abuse and assault we must get rid of. And as they happen time and time again, men must also discuss this with other men. To reverse course on this defect, challenge at every pass disrespect. Dedicate yourself to fairness, speak up and raise awareness, because if our voices too are amplified, maybe we could put a dent in femicide. And let's not forget, changes in social norms create both platforms and reforms. Realize that some will take your words as celebration, while others will take the same as objectification. Let individuals rule their own court. Be gracious and simply support. Plus, there's more to discuss than female bodies. Try, Confucius or Socrates. And of course, there's a time and a place for carnal conversations, but slow down. It's not a race. I can't fathom the level of torment to fathom worrying about consent, and each one of us is unfree if we can't standardize safety. So hour after hour, question power, declare the imperative to change the narrative. As we replace the novel of life on our shelf, know that we know you can take care of yourself. This alliance isn't meant to devalue. If nothing else, we're just here to stand beside you. For we must all denounce the resistors, and yes, this too goes for our trans sisters. We are all part of this social causality, and so we must all fight for gender equality. Poem.
Wow, that was awesome. Thank you so much. For Nothing is Fixed by James Baldwin. For nothing is fixed forever, forever, forever. It is not fixed. The earth is always shifting, the light is always changing. The sea does not cease to grind down rock. Generations do not cease to be born, and we are responsible for them because we are the only witnesses they have. The sea rises, the light fails. Lovers cling to each other, and children cling to us. The moment we cease to hold each other, the moment we break faith with one another, the sea engulfs us, and the light goes out. Thank you so much for being at Poetry Street. Thank you for, hopefully we have another 12 years or even more. And thank you all for sharing, because it's you who make us us. And we're just so happy. PoetryStreetOnTheRoad.com is our website. We have a film that's on the website. This recording will also be on the website, PoetryStreetOnTheRoad.com. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you all. Thank you.
No one can leave.
Yes, now we eat cake.
On Zoom, we're very jealous.
I know. We're sorry for you. I'm throwing some bread your way. Love you all so
Congrats
much.
on your anniversary, everyone.
Congratulations. Much love. Nancy, thank you for the cake.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chip, Maggie, everybody. Happy anniversary.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.